Okay, so this is authorizing mini lesson part 2 because we ran out of time on the first one. We already looked at the first example. So the first example was organized in this format right here: name, title, signal phrase, quote. Now we're going to look at 2 and 3. So example number 2, you'll see, is a bit longer and definitely organized in a different way. But you're going to notice that it has the same pieces. So the first thing that we see on this one is right away you should notice that there are quotation marks. Okay, so that's going to tell us right now that is the quote. Quote, we are going to underline or highlight in yellow. So I am going to underline this quote in yellow. And notice I'm going to stop where the quotation marks stop, because anything after that is not something that the author said, that the expert said. It's what you say. These are your words then when you're doing it. The next thing that we see is once again that signal phrase. And once again, it's very simple. Said. This is pointing out that you did not say this quote up here, someone else did. And it's telling your reader that, guess what? Now I'm going to tell you who said this, because it wasn't me. So that's green. Your signal phrase is green. The next part that we see on this one is the title, which once again is blue. So we're going to underline Dr. Timothy Amuke. Remember, I couldn't remember how to pronounce that. But we're going to underline his name because that's his actual name. We can look up him and see who he is. The next part says a pathologist and director of the Hopkins Bayview Medical Center's clinical laboratories. What is this telling us? This is telling us why he matters. This is telling us who he is and why he is an authority on this subject. So this is our title. Who is Dr. Timothy? Well, he's a pathologist and a director at Hopkins Bayview Medical Center Clinical Laboratories. So that's going to be highlighted or underlined in orange. And then finally, the last part, if we look back here, is a reason for his expertise. Now, we're not going to highlight that in a different color, but it does give us even more information. It tells us he spent 18 months on a team perfecting refrigeration on drones. So it tells us even more how his authority as a pathologist and a director, why it specifically applies to this idea about drones. So we're not going to highlight that in a special color, but it is very important because it connects it back to why he has something important to say. All right, let's look at this last one. The first thing we see here is a name. So can anybody guess what color that's going to be? That's going to be blue. There's the name, Mary Brown. Why is Mary Brown important? Why is she an authority on this issue? Well, that is her title. What is her title? She's a middle school teacher in Wake County. That doesn't tell us too much about why she should have something to say about drones, but there's more information here. Where 3 weeks breaks occur every 9 weeks. Oh, and I think this one's actually not from drones. This is from the year-round school issue that we also talked about. So this is why she's an authority. They do year-round school. They take 3-week breaks and they go year-round. So this is why she's an authority on that issue. The next part says she doesn't see that as a problem at her school. Notice this is not in quotes, but this is also not something that comes from the writer. This is coming from a paraphrase where we take what someone has said and we put it in our own words. So this right here is paraphrasing. So I'm not going to highlight that or underline that just because it's not one of the specific things we're looking for, but that's paraphrasing and you can use that. And then obviously the next part, because it's in quotes, so we know this is our quote. This is exactly what she said. Our schedule offers the kids a break from school right when they need it. And we're going to stop right where the quotation marks are. Now there's one more part. That last part is our signal phrase. She says. So I really want you guys to try to use one of these in yours, okay? One of these sentence frames when you're authorizing, and I want you to highlight them in your paper or underline with the color coding that we went over. So once again, name is blue, title is orange, signal phrase is green, and quote is yellow. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thanks.